guys, Orumus here, and today I'm going to do a little video on World of Tanks Generals, the closed beta. This is the garage, as they call it, but it's the, home station of World of Tanks Generals. And here you see all of your decks, cards. I have quite a few, but you're going to start out with 3 decks, and they're the basic trainee decks. The game is really well developed for a closed beta. I mean, honestly, I feel like they could release it right now and it would be perfectly ready to go. But Wargamming seems to be really all about making sure that all the glitches, every glitch is out of the game, which respect, gotta have respect. Anyway, so a real quick overview of this screen. Like I said, these are your headquarters, or your decks, if you want to call them that. But in this game, the goal is to destroy the enemy's headquarters, and your headquarters is what you see, when you look at the beginning of your deck. So they're one and the same, basically. So yeah, there's that. This is the selector to choose what kind of battle you want to do. You don't get any experience for going against the bot, but it's good to test a new deck out, to make sure it actually works. And then, of course, there's basic combat training, but the PvP battle is what you're going to be doing most of. There's the edit button, which I'll show you in just a minute where that goes, but that's for editing your decks, and this is for researching cards and new headquarters. And this, of course, is where you can go to buy premium cards. Because there are what they call, there are premium cards that you can actually buy and you get the card permanently, but there's also mercenaries, which mostly from what I've seen, these mercenary cards, and I'll actually show you them right now. You'll see a little, what looks like a little clock on it, and what it means is that I haven't researched this yet, so I can actually rent the card for up to a day. In order to put it into my deck, and of course you can use gold or credits to rent it, and then that way you can actually temporarily have like a very powerful card that maybe you just didn't have the XP to research or anything like that. Like I don't. I mean, I'm not even close to having enough XP to research this thing, so I could actually buy this thing and put it in my deck for up to a day for 20,000 credits. So that's one of the premium shop things, as far as the mercenary cards go. Then of course there is the premium shop itself, which you have your premium time just like other games, up to 30 days, and this is disabled right now, but this is where you'd actually buy tokens for real life cash, and this is where you convert tokens to credits, and then you can convert tokens and free XP to specialty XP. So pretty standard, very similar to World of Tanks, World of Warplanes, if you ever played that. And this up here is you can click this and see every single day you're going to have missions that you can complete. And the missions are fairly easy to complete, and they reward you with premium currency. Some of the missions do. And then of course credits, and then there's like some extra XP, which is really, really nice. So yeah, those are the daily missions. There's also special missions. This game has only been in closed beta since the beginning of the week, but in those few days I've already seen like 2 different special missions come up. So, that's extra chances to win more credits or get more tokens or whatever. This button up here, assets, this is actually something that you need to research, and then it's kind of like consumables from World of Tanks if you've ever played that game. So, for example, let's go to the support. You've got 3 different varieties of supplies, and if you click on one of them, like support, then these are the types of supplies that you can equip, and they do different things. Like this one restores 2 hit points to a unit, and then what you do is, I have it researched already, but this button right here that says purchase would say research. So you research it, and then you purchase it, and then you equip it. And you can do that for this one, which this one gives you an extra resource, and this one you deal 2 damage for no resources. And then depending on which one you have selected per type of support is what you're going to have available in the battle, because when your battle starts, it's going to give you a choice of your recon, tactic, or support, but it's only going to give you whatever choice you have checkmarked. So it's going to give me the emergency support, or for tactics it'll give me camouflage, or for recon, and right now there's only one recon, then it will give me that. So, and then you just, like World of Tanks consumables, you just have them auto repair and auto refill. So those are kind of neat, give you a little bit of an advantage, depending on your deck. You can pick which one works with your deck the best. And then this up here is just kind of your personal score screen. Eventually, they're going to have a Hall of Fame. Right now, it doesn't do anything where you can see where you rank against other players. But this, again, just like World of Tanks and World of Warplane and stuff, you have your awards and everything like that, and your statistics. So yeah, pretty standard if you're used to wargaming games. And like I said, I'll show you the edit. This is where you go and edit the deck. So this is your deck down here in the bottom, and it doesn't show you the headquarters because you can't edit your headquarters. You can research a new headquarters, and then once you buy that headquarters, it starts as a new deck, and then you just edit that deck. So these are the cards that you have. You can only have a maximum of 40. This is the deck power. It's showing you basically a very general statistic to give you an idea of how powerful your deck is. You can rename your deck, and you can have multiple decks for each headquarters. So, like, you can have up to 5, it looks like, right now. And then you can just see the general statistics on your deck, like how many of each type of card, the cost, the power, categories. Pretty handy. Go back to the editor. These are the cards that you have available. Now, right now in the game, and I don't know if it's going to stay like this. I guess it is. I mean, the game looks pretty solid, so I'm pretty sure this is going to change. But right now, any card from any nationality you can use with any headquarters. The thing to remember, when you're doing that, though, is that the more powerful cards, like, if I use something like, let's see, like this, and it tells me right here it's a tier 1 card, that's going to be a pretty weak card. And why is that important? Because the matchmaker goes by the power of your deck to match you with an opponent. So if you're using a very, low-level headquarters, like a tier 1 headquarters, but you put in a whole bunch of tier 4 cards, your deck power is going to say you're like, 200 or something. But you're going to be put up against people that have really advanced headquarters. And even though your cards are really great, because of your headquarters being way, probably having less health and, less damage output and stuff like that, you might get crushed. So you got to kind of be careful of that. But as it stands right now, you can put any card from any tier and any nationality into any nationality and any tier of headquarters. So, for example, like this right here is a tier 4 SPG. I can actually throw that into this deck. So, now I have a tier 4 SPG in my tier 1 deck, and as you can see, my power just went up significantly, and that's just one card. So imagine if you put a whole bunch of tier 4, tier 5 cards into a tier 1 headquarters. Your power would be way up, but it would be a unrealistic number to go by at that point because your headquarters would still be so low level. So that is the deck editor, and we're actually and and like I said, with the daily missions, you also have ×2 XP on each deck. Again, very much like other wargaming games, it's very useful. The 2 times XP is so awesome. So that is your home screen right here. This is your communications and contacts. So you have your general channel, and any friends that you have will be here, stuff like that. So that is that for the garage, as they call it. And this right here, this is the research tab. This is where you go when you want to get better cards and headquarters. And as I was saying before, you start out with a tier 1 headquarters. There's 3 for, one for each nationality, Russian, American, German. And this is the American Tier 1 headquarters. And you start here, and then none of these cards are already researched. You gotta research them. So I've already researched this card, and I've researched this. And I've researched this because, well, I'm actually on this headquarters for the Americans. So I've also researched this one because I want to get this. This is a buff for your headquarters. But yeah, so you just go through, and I've already researched it. Once you research it, you have to buy the cards, and you can have up to 3 cards in each deck. So you can buy 3 copies, and each one costs, in this case, 5,400 credits. So then if I want to use this card without getting it as a mercenary, if I want to actually research it, then that's 30,600 XP. That is a lot of XP. But yeah, so I have to get that much XP. This is how much I currently have, and of course that's not including the free XP that I have. So I'm very far away from getting this card, which is fine. And yeah, then that's just the research tree, and then you just have to figure out, what headquarters you want to go towards and how you want to build that headquarters. Like, I'm actually going for this headquarters for the Americans. I think that the statistics on it look like a very interesting headquarters for a deck. And I'm trying to research cards while I'm at it that are going to work with that deck. And, it's the same exact thing with the Russians. You start off right here with the training unit. This is the Tier 1 headquarters, and these are all the other headquarters available. So, I'm going down this line right here, as you can see, because they have credits there instead of XP. That means I've already researched them, and I'm working towards this headquarters right here. But yeah, and like I said before, just because I'm going for this headquarters, I mean, I can still research these cards and use them with this headquarters. It's just these are kind of the blocks that you have to get through in order to get to whatever headquarters, and they kind of do seem like they work with the idea of the line. It's kind of like, if you're playing World of Tanks and you're playing the medium line of say whatever American mediums, then playing the T20 Tier 7 medium kind of gives you an idea. It's kind of, in the same vein as the Tier 10, M48 patent. So it's the same thing with this. Playing these cards, using them in your deck is kind of like they are in the same vein as the headquarters that they lead up to, and what its specialty is. So, but yeah, that is the research component of this game. Alright, so I'm going to do a battle in my Tier 2 American deck. This is a browser-based game, so there's nothing to download. Just loading it straight up. And I'm selecting one of my special, support abilities I want to use. And, I like that one. It's free 3 damage to headquarters or a unit, so I pick that a lot. Now the enemy is deploying his tanks, and as you can see, the tanks, most of the tanks, they have on the top right corner the little things that look like gas cans, and those are resources. Your headquarters has X amount of resources, like in this case mine has 10. And then for every additional tank, or even some of the buffs for your headquarters will give you resources, then that allows you to put out more, vehicles and more orders in the next turn. So right now I'm just killing some of his tanks. In the early game, in this game, it really helps to kill their tanks because of that resource, especially when they're using a headquarters that has a really low resource inherent. Like his only has 5, so that means with only 5 resources, you can't put out anything really powerful. The other thing to note is that in this game, you can only deploy units on what's called the beachhead, and the beachhead is the 3 squares, the 3 tiles that are adjacent to your headquarters. So now I'm just checking out the card that he just deployed. I hadn't seen it before. It's a tank destroyer that he put out. Tank destroyers are different than regular tanks because they always attack first unless they are attacking another tank destroyer. And that tank destroyer also has camouflage, so what that means is that I can't attack it with my headquarters or artillery. And I don't like that, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Just gaining back some health, draw a card. Now in this game, you know, the goal of the game is to kill the enemy's headquarters, take all their hit points. In this case he has 26, and he has 3 attack, which is why he has such low resource. You know, that's the trade-off. Like, I have a lot of resources, but I only have 16 health and 1 attack. So each headquarters that you go in down in this game, you know, as you're researching them, has different abilities and so on and so forth. These are only tier 2 headquarters, so they're not super complicated or anything, but they get more complicated the higher you go. Apparently he didn't like my artillery much. So the reason I mentioned the beachhead earlier in this match is because one of the things that you can do, and I actually believe I win this match by doing this, is you can move your tanks and take up all of the spots on the enemy's beachhead. If you do that, they can't deploy any units until they kill your units. So if you have a lot of units and you get them right up there on their beachhead and backing up other units, then you really limit what they can deploy even more than, you know, what they have resources for. So plus you get a nifty little medal for doing it. I've gotten a bunch of them. So this guy doesn't know right now that, yeah, I have Crush, which is an order, does 5 damage to an enemy headquarters. It's high resource count at 9, but that's why I have it in this deck, because this is one of those headquarters that has a lot of resources. So right now I'm just surrounding him. I'm forcing him to have to use his attacks on my little tanks. And he is deployed, that thing that you see to the right of his headquarters, that's a buff that you can do for your headquarters. It's what it does is it absorbs 2 damage up to 7 times, so it helps you survive an onslaught like what I'm doing to him. What I've managed to do this entire game is really screw him over in the resources. He hasn't been able to really put anything out, and even if he did, he's only had at most 1 slot open on his beachhead for a couple of turns now, so I've really taken control of this match from the beginning. There's a Liberty tank. I believe I'm going to put that out. That is a heavy tank. One of the neat things about it, besides being a heavy tank and having 4 attack and all that, is that it gives you 2 resources instead of the normal 1 of most tanks. The other thing to know is, in this game, when an enemy attacks your tank can counterattack. But it can only counterattack once, so if multiple tanks attack it, then it will only counterattack the first tank that attacked it. But heavy tanks, if they attack during your turn, so if your heavy tank attacks something, then they cannot counterattack during the enemy's turn. The light tanks and medium tanks can, and so can tank destroyers. The heavy tanks cannot. So, you know, they got a lot of health and good attack and all that stuff, but that's the drawback to them. So as you see, I've just constantly kept right on his beachhead, forcing him not only to really screwed him over with the resources, but making it so that even if he did have resources, he wouldn't have been able to deploy more than 1 vehicle. And then I can just surround it and destroy it and then move in again. As you see, it just constantly moving my tanks in. And I believe this is his last turn. If he kills my tank destroyer, that right there, then that'll allow me to draw a card, kind of like that if he kills it with a headquarters or a artillery. Now, TDs normally get to attack first, and if they kill you, then you can't counterattack them. However, if a TD attacks another TD, like he just did, then it doesn't matter if he kills it, I still get to counterattack before I die. And this is the last one. I jumped the gun a little bit earlier. So one of the ways that you get rated in this game is how much health you have at the end of the battle. That affects your experience and your rating. So I just healed myself up a little bit more because I knew this was going to be the last turn. And now Crush for the overkill. And that is a little bit of gameplay from the beta. And that's the little medal I got for taking over his bridgehead. But yeah, that's it. Well, I hope this video was enjoyable and showed you a little bit of what World of Tanks Generals is like. This is Orumus signing off.